20 controversial bands that suddenly disappeared after one hit. Imagine hitting the top of the charts, becoming a household name, and then suddenly disappearing from the spotlight. In this video, we'll uncover the stories of 20 bands who made a huge impact with one big hit, and then vanished. From controversial lyrics to unexpected success, they captured the world's attention before fading into obscurity. Let's dive into the mystery behind their sudden disappearance. Crazy Town. Butterfly. Crazy Town burst onto the music scene in 2000 with their breakout hit Butterfly, a track that blended hip-hop, rock, and a hypnotic sample from the Red Hot Chili Peppers' instrumental Pretty Little Ditty. By 2001, the song had skyrocketed to the top of the Billboard Hot 100, making Crazy Town a household name almost overnight. But as quickly as they rose to fame, their momentum came to a screeching halt. Despite its catchy melody and widespread radio play, Butterfly faced backlash for its suggestive lyrics, drawing unwanted attention from critics and even the Federal Trade Commission. The controversy only added to the band's struggles. While they attempted to follow up on their success, nothing quite hit the same mark. Internal conflicts, creative struggles, and the personal battles of lead singer Seth Brooks Binzer, better known as Shifty Shellshock, further derailed their trajectory. His well-documented issues with addiction and legal troubles ultimately led to Crazy Town's breakup in 2003. Over the years, the band has reunited and released new music, but their attempts to reclaim the magic of their early days have fallen flat. Butterfly remains both their greatest achievement and a shadow they've never managed to escape. Blind Melon. No Rain. Blind Melon's 1992 hit No Rain became an instant classic, thanks in part to its dreamy, melancholic melody and the unforgettable B-Girl music video. The song captured the spirit of the early 90s, resonating with audiences who connected with its themes of loneliness and longing for something more. It propelled the band into the mainstream, making them one of the era's most promising alternative rock acts. However, their success was short-lived. While No Rain made them stars, the band struggled to maintain momentum, and their lead singer, Shannon Hoon, was fighting a much darker battle behind the scenes. His ongoing struggles with addiction loomed over the band, despite their attempts to move forward. Tragically, in October 1995, just weeks after the release of their second album, Soup, Hoon died of a drug overdose while on tour. His sudden passing left the band devastated, and without their charismatic frontman, Blind Melon disbanded. Years later, they attempted a comeback with a new singer, Travis Warren, but the magic of their early days was impossible to recapture. Though they released new music, Blind Melon remains best remembered for No Rain, a song that defined an era, but also marked the beginning of the end for the band. Warm Sounds. Birds and Bees. Warm Sounds made a brief but colorful mark on the psychedelic pop scene with their 1967 hit, Birds and Bees. Released during the height of the Summer of Love, the song perfectly captured the era's whimsical, dreamy sound with its trippy melodies and lush harmonies. It climbed to number 27 on the UK singles chart, giving the duo, Barry Younghusband and Denny Gerard, a taste of success. However, the momentum didn't last. Despite their promising start, Warm Sounds struggled to follow up with another hit. The late 60s music scene was evolving rapidly, and the duo found it difficult to keep up with the shifting trends. By 1968, they had quietly disbanded, fading into obscurity just as quickly as they had arrived. After Warm Sounds split, Barry Younghusband found a place in the soul-influenced rock band, The Foundations, while Denny Gerard pursued a solo career, releasing the album Sinister Morning. Though both musicians remained active in the industry, neither would achieve the level of recognition Warm Sounds briefly enjoyed. Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. Sir Mix-a-Lot's 1992 smash hit, Baby Got Back, was more than just a song. It was a cultural phenomenon. With its bold, bass-heavy beat and unapologetic celebration of curvier women, the track dominated the airwaves and spent 5 weeks at the top of the Billboard Hot 100. At a time when mainstream beauty standards leaned toward the slim and petite, Baby Got Back flipped the script, making it both an anthem of body positivity and a lightning rod for controversy. The song's lyrics, while playful and humorous, sparked intense debates about whether they were empowering or objectifying. MTV initially banned the music video, only to reverse course and allow a censored version due to the song's overwhelming popularity. Despite the backlash, Baby Got Back cemented itself in pop culture history, referenced and parodied countless times in movies, TV shows, and commercials. However, the massive success of Baby Got Back proved impossible for Sir Mix-a-Lot to replicate. Though he continued making music and even dabbled in other ventures, he never came close to the impact of his signature hit. Devo, Whip It. Devo's 1980 hit Whip. It was as bizarre as it was infectious. With its tight, robotic 4/4 meteoric beat and quirky, deadpan vocals, the song stood out in the early days of New Wave. It climbed to number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100, giving the band their biggest mainstream success. But Devo was never a typical pop act. Their futuristic aesthetic, satirical lyrics, and experimental sound set them apart from the polished rock and disco dominating the charts. Adding to the song's mystique was its surreal music video, featuring a cowboy casually whipping the clothes off a woman in a Western-style ranch setting. The unusual imagery led to wild interpretations, with many assuming whip. It was about sadomasochism or masturbation. In reality, the song was meant as a tongue-in-cheek commentary on American perseverance and self-improvement, but the rumors only fueled its notoriety. Despite Whip, its success, Devo struggled to stay in the mainstream. Their avant-garde style and satirical approach kept them from becoming a radio-friendly band, but they remained cult icons. They continued to release music and tour for decades, their influence rippling through alternative music, even if they never quite captured the mainstream spotlight again. Which one-hit wonder do you think should have had more success? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Dishwalla, Counting Blue Cars. Dishwalla's 1996 hit Counting Blue Cars became an anthem of the alt-rock era, with its hypnotic melody and thought-provoking lyrics striking a chord with listeners. The song, known for its memorable chorus, "Tell me all your thoughts on God, 'cause I'd really like to meet her," stood out in a decade filled with grunge and post-grunge bands. It climbed to number 15 on the Billboard Hot 100 and won the band a Billboard Music Award, solidifying their place in 90s rock history. Its success was further fueled by its inclusion in the cult classic film Empire Records, which helped introduce Counting Blue Cars to an even wider audience. But despite this momentum, Dishwalla struggled to replicate the song's impact. While they continued to release music, none of their follow-up singles resonated in the same way. As the 2000s rolled in, the band faced internal challenges, most notably the departure of lead singer J.R. Richards in 2008. Though they eventually regrouped with a new lineup and have continued to tour and release new material, Counting Blue Cars remains their defining hit, a nostalgic relic of 90s alternative rock that still finds its way onto throwback playlists. Video Kids, Woodpeckers from Space. Video Kids' 1984 hit Woodpeckers from Space was a bizarre yet irresistibly catchy Euro disco track that became an unexpected sensation across Europe. Featuring high-energy synth beats, robotic vocals, and the cartoonish laughter of Tyot the Woodpecker, the song had all the hallmarks of an 80s novelty hit. It soared to number 1 in Norway and Spain, turning the Dutch duo into overnight stars. Riding the wave of success, Video Kids released their debut album, The Invasion of the Spacepeckers, which sold over 1 million copies. The album continued the space-themed, playful style that made Woodpeckers from Space so unique, but despite its initial popularity, none of their follow-up tracks managed to capture the same magic. By 1986, the duo had disbanded, fading into obscurity almost as quickly as they had risen. Tragically, both members of Video Kids passed away in the 1990s, adding a somber note to their brief but memorable legacy. 1T plus Cool T, The Magic Key. 1T and Cool T's 2003 single. The Magic Key was a genre-blending track that captured the essence of early 2000 electronic and hip-hop fusion. Built around a hypnotic sample from Maharaja, a 1971 song by Czech progressive rock band Blue Effect, the track stood out with its infectious melody, smooth rap verses, and futuristic animated music video. It quickly became a European hit, breaking into the top 5 in multiple countries and solidifying itself as a club favorite. The project, conceived as a virtual band much like Gorillaz, had a distinctive visual style that added to its appeal. The animated characters, led by 1T, gave the song a unique identity, making it more than just another dance floor anthem. However, despite the track's widespread popularity, 1T struggled to maintain momentum. Follow-up releases failed to achieve the same level of success, and the project gradually faded from the spotlight. 4 Non-Blondes. What's Up? 4 Non-Blondes' 1993 anthem, What's Up, became an instant classic, capturing the frustration and disillusionment of a generation. The song's powerful vocals, led by Linda Perry, and its catchy chorus made it a worldwide hit, climbing the charts and becoming a staple of 90s alternative rock. With lines like, "What's going on?" echoing across radio stations and MTV, the track struck a chord with listeners everywhere. However, despite the song's immense success, internal tensions began to brew within the band. Linda Perry, the band's lead singer and primary songwriter, was dissatisfied with the direction the group was taking. Her frustration with the band's creative differences eventually led to their breakup in 1994, just after the release of their only full-length album, Bigger, Better, Faster, More. Perry went on to carve out a massively successful career as a songwriter and producer, penning hits for artists like Christina Aguilera, Pink, and Gwen Stefani, while 4 Non-Blondes remained a one-hit wonder. What's Up? Continues to be a beloved track, with its raw emotion and timeless appeal still resonating with audiences today. Los del Rio, Macarena. Los del Rio's 1993 hit Macarena became an unstoppable global phenomenon, dominating the airwaves and dance floors worldwide. Its catchy beat and simple yet infectious dance moves made it a party favorite, and within a year, the song was an international sensation. From wedding receptions to sports events, Macarena was everywhere. What truly set it apart, though, was its unique fusion of flamenco, pop, and dance music, creating a sound that appealed to a wide audience across different cultures. While the song's rhythm and dance moves were universally embraced, the lyrics, telling the story of a woman named Macarena who's unfaithful to her partner, sparked some debate. In some places, the song was criticized for its portrayal of infidelity, while others shrugged it off as just a catchy tune with a quirky narrative. The backstory behind Macarena is just as fascinating as the song itself. Los del Rio, a Spanish flamenco duo, got their inspiration for the track during a trip to Venezuela. There, they encountered a flamenco dancer, and the infectious rhythm of her dance sparked the creation of the iconic tune. Little did they know that what started as a regional hit would go on to become one of the most recognizable songs of the 1990s, cementing their place in pop culture history. What's your favorite controversial song that topped the charts? Share your picks below. Right, said Fred. I'm too sexy. Right said Fred's 1991 hit I'm Too Sexy took the world by surprise with its cheeky lyrics, catchy beat, and playful attitude. The song, which poked fun at the superficiality of the fashion industry, became an instant global sensation. With its iconic line, I'm too sexy for my shirt, it captured the essence of early 90s pop culture and quickly became a fixture on radio stations and dance floors everywhere. The song's humor and catchy chorus made it the perfect anthem for the time, blending self-parody with confidence in a way that had audiences singing along. The inspiration behind I'm Too Sexy came from the brothers' own experiences working at a gym. As they observed the world of fashion and fitness, they decided to write a tongue-in-cheek song about vanity and the absurdity of excess. This witty approach, combined with their distinct sound, helped the song skyrocket to the top of the charts and become one of the most memorable tracks of the 90s. Despite the success of I'm Too Sexy, Right Said Fred struggled to replicate that level of fame with their subsequent releases. While they continued to produce music, none of their follow-up tracks managed to catch the public's attention in the same way. As a result, the duo remains largely remembered for their one hit, though I'm Too Sexy continues to enjoy iconic status, often resurfacing in pop culture references, commercials, and throwback playlists. Chumbawamba, Tubthumping. Chumbawamba's 1997 hit Tubthumping became an unexpected anthem for resilience and perseverance. With its catchy chorus, I get knocked down, but I get up again, the song resonated with listeners worldwide, becoming a symbol of bouncing back from life's challenges. The infectious melody, paired with its empowering message, made it a favorite on radio stations, in sports arenas, and in personal playlists. It was the perfect feel-good track of the 90s, and it seemed like everyone could relate to its theme of overcoming adversity. However, beneath the song's upbeat vibe, there was much more to Tubthumping than just a catchy hook. Chumbawamba, known for their anarchist punk ideologies, included subtle political messages in the song, which sparked debate among listeners and critics alike. The band had always been vocal about their beliefs, using music as a platform for activism. This made Tubthumping more than just a pop hit. It was a piece of protest art wrapped in a mainstream package. The band's refusal to compromise their political ideals in an increasingly commercialized music industry made it difficult for them to maintain mainstream success. In 2012, Chumbawamba disbanded after more than 30 years together, leaving behind a legacy of thought-provoking music. Snow, Informer. Snow's 1992 hit Informer became a massive global success thanks to its unique blend of reggae, hip-hop, and dancehall influences. The song's catchy rhythm and Snow's distinctive voice captivated audiences worldwide. The lyrics, which recount Snow's experiences with law enforcement, struck a chord, especially with its memorable hook. Informer, you know say daddy me snow me a go blame. The track's rapid rise to the top of the charts made it an undeniable hit, and it became a staple of 90s music. What made Informer even more intriguing was its backstory. Snow, whose real name is Darren O'Brien, reportedly saw the music video for the first time while incarcerated. This element of his personal journey added depth to the song, making it feel more authentic to fans who were drawn to his narrative. However, the song wasn't without controversy. Snow faced accusations of cultural appropriation, as critics argued that his use of reggae and dancehall styles, while impressive, was a form of exploiting a culture that wasn't his own. Despite the success and the catchy nature of the track, these accusations followed him throughout his career, leading to debates over whether it was fair to label him as an outsider in the genre. Afroman, Because I Got High. Afroman's 2000 hit, Because I Got High, became a viral sensation, largely due to its humorous and carefree approach to marijuana use. The song's catchy hook, "I was gonna go to class, but I got high," resonated with listeners, especially during a time when marijuana culture was becoming more mainstream. The track, which blends comedy with a laid-back, funky beat, quickly gained popularity, reaching number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 and even earning Afroman a Grammy nomination. Its lighthearted tone and catchy chorus made it a go-to anthem for those looking to have a laugh and embrace the fun of life's less serious moments. Reportedly written in just a few minutes, Because I Got High tapped into a sense of humor and rebellion that connected with a wide audience. The song became a staple of party playlists and pop culture references, solidifying Afroman's place in music history for that moment. However, after the song's massive success, Afroman struggled to replicate the same level of fame. His subsequent albums didn't reach the same heights, and his career never regained the momentum that Because I Got High provided. Despite this, Afroman remained active in the music scene, continuing to release new material. In 2014, he released a remix of the song advocating for marijuana legalization, reflecting his ongoing connection to the theme and the growing political movement surrounding marijuana. While he never reached the same level of mainstream success again, Because I Got High remains a defining track of early 2000s music and a favorite for those who enjoy its laid-back, humorous vibe. Alien Ant Farm, Smooth Criminal. Alien Ant Farm's 2001 cover of Michael Jackson's iconic Smooth Criminal became a massive hit, breathing new life into the classic song with a fresh, edgy twist. Their version, which fused alternative rock with Jackson's unmistakable groove, quickly climbed the charts and earned widespread acclaim. Part of the song's success was due to the music video, which paid a clever homage to Jackson's original video, featuring similar dance moves and stylized visuals that delighted fans of both the original and the new rendition. The song's success was undeniable. Smooth Criminal was everywhere, from radio playlists to sports arenas, and even became a favorite at parties. It was a fresh take on a classic, with the band's high-energy performance adding a new layer to the song's already electrifying appeal. It seemed like Alien Ant Farm was on the verge of stardom, thanks to their bold cover of a song that had been etched into pop culture history. However, despite the overwhelming success of the cover, lead vocalist Dryden Mitchell expressed concerns that the band's newfound fame might overshadow their original work. While Smooth Criminal introduced the band to a larger audience, Mitchell feared that it could become their defining moment, potentially leaving their other music unnoticed. This tension between their commercial success and their desire to be recognized for their own music marked a pivotal point in the band's career. Please comment yes to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Len, Steal My Sunshine. Len's 1999 hit Steal My Sunshine became an unforgettable summer anthem, thanks to its breezy vibe and infectious hook. The track, which cleverly sampled Andrea True Connection's 1976 disco hit, More, 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 instantly caught the attention of listeners with its laid-back rhythm and catchy chorus. The song reached number 9 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, making it one of the standout tracks of the late 90s. Its success was boosted further by its inclusion on the soundtrack of the popular film Go, which helped expose the song to a broader audience. Steal My Sunshine became synonymous with carefree, sun-soaked days, capturing the essence of the late 90s summer soundtrack. Its easygoing melody, paired with the distinctive vocal style of Mark and Sharon Costanzo, made the song an instant favorite on the radio and at parties. The track's feel-good atmosphere resonated with fans, helping it solidify a place in pop culture. While the band continued to produce music and perform, they were never able to replicate the widespread popularity of Steal My Sunshine. As a result, the song remains their most significant claim to fame, and despite its one-hit wonder status, it continues to be remembered as a nostalgic piece of late 90s music. Tones and I, Dance Monkey. Tones and I's 2019 hit Dance Monkey became a global sensation, topping the charts in over 30 countries and earning the Australian singer-songwriter worldwide recognition. The song's infectious melody and catchy beat made it impossible to escape, as it dominated radio waves, playlists, and social media. The track's success was a major milestone in Tones and I's career, but it also came with its own challenges. Before Dance Monkey skyrocketed to fame, Tones and I, whose real name is Toni Watson, was a street performer in Byron Bay, Australia. Her experiences busking on the streets played a significant role in shaping the song's lyrics. The song's themes of feeling unheard and yearning for attention drew directly from her time performing to passers-by, often struggling to connect with an audience. The relatable narrative resonated with listeners, adding an emotional depth to its catchy, upbeat sound. Despite Dance Monkey's overwhelming success, topping charts worldwide and breaking records, Tones and I has expressed a desire to move beyond the track. While the song became a defining moment in her career, she's eager to showcase her growth as an artist and explore new musical directions. She has made it clear that she doesn't want to be known solely for Dance Monkey, and her ambition to evolve as a musician has led to the release of new material, aiming to step away from the shadow of her breakout hit. OMC. How Bizarre. In 1996, OMC, Otara Millionaires Club, released How Bizarre, a track that quickly became a global hit. The song's unique blend of pop, hip-hop, and Polynesian influences stood out in a crowded musical landscape. Its catchy chorus, memorable beat, and Polyfuemana's smooth vocal delivery made it an instant favorite, topping the charts in several countries, including the United States, Canada, and the UK. The song's quirky, almost surreal lyrics, combined with its infectious rhythm, helped How Bizarre earn its place as a timeless one-hit wonder. The band, led by frontman Polyfuemana, found it difficult to replicate the success of their breakout single. Fuemana, who had always been the creative force behind OMC, faced numerous personal and financial challenges, which hindered the band's ability to continue on the path to stardom. The pressures of fame, combined with the challenges of the music industry, took a toll on Fuemana, and OMC was unable to capitalize on the success of How Bizarre. Tragically, Polyfuemana passed away in 2010, leaving behind a legacy that is forever tied to How Bizarre. The song remains a beloved part of 90s music, a quirky anthem that continues to be remembered for its originality and charm. Despite OMC's relatively short-lived career, How Bizarre lives on as a testament to Fuemana's unique vision and talent. Sugar Ray, Fly. In 1997, Sugar Ray released Fly, a track that marked a significant shift in the band's musical direction. Originally known for their funk metal roots, the band transitioned to a more radio-friendly pop rock sound with Fly, which became an instant hit. The song's catchy, laid-back vibe and smooth lyrics, paired with Mark McGrath's signature vocals, made it an undeniable anthem of the late 90s. Fly topped the Billboard charts and became Sugar Ray's biggest hit, earning them widespread recognition and airplay. However, the song's success came with a bit of a double-edged sword. While Fly propelled Sugar Ray into mainstream success, it also alienated some of their original fans who were more drawn to the band's earlier, harder sound. Many saw the shift as a departure from the band's roots, and the more pop-oriented direction didn't sit well with everyone. Despite the success of Fly, Sugar Ray struggled to replicate its chart-topping success with subsequent releases. Over time, lineup changes and evolving musical tastes contributed to the band's decline. Though Sugar Ray did have other hits, including Every Morning and Someday, they couldn't sustain the momentum they had with Fly. As the years went on, the band's popularity waned, and they became more of a nostalgic act, remembered primarily for their one big hit. Mungo Jerry, In the Summertime. Released in 1970, In the Summertime by Mungo, Jerry became an instant summer anthem, with its infectious, carefree vibe capturing the essence of warm weather and good times. The song was a surprise hit, reaching #1 in several countries and becoming a staple of summer playlists ever since. What makes the song even more remarkable is that it was recorded in a single take, according to lead singer Ray Dorset. The track's simple, yet memorable melody, combined with its upbeat, feel-good lyrics, resonated with listeners around the world, making it one of the defining songs of the 70s. While the band did release other music, none of it captured the same level of attention or commercial success. Mungo Jerry became one of those bands forever tied to one iconic song, and despite their efforts, they remained a one-hit wonder in the eyes of the public. Most controversial band songs of the 1960s and 1970s. The 1960s and 1970s were a time of rebellion, and music was the voice of the era. But not every song was welcomed. Many were banned or censored for being too bold. Let's dive into 20 of the most controversial songs from this time. The tracks that shook society. Street Fighting Man. Released in 1968, the song resonated with the turbulent atmosphere of the time, reflecting the global unrest and widespread protests. From the anti-war demonstrations in the US to civil rights struggles in Europe, the track captured the frustration and anger of a generation on the brink of major social change. The timing of the song's release was especially poignant, coming just after violent protests erupted during the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. With lyrics like, "Everywhere I hear the sound of marching, charging feet, boy," many feared the song could fuel further unrest. The lines were interpreted as a rallying cry for revolution, leading several U.S. radio stations to ban the song, concerned that it might incite riots. Despite the censorship, Street Fighting Man quickly became an anthem for protest movements worldwide. The song not only cemented the Rolling Stones' place in rock history, but also transformed them into more than just musicians. They became outspoken voices in the political and social landscape of the 1960s. With this track, they demonstrated that rock and roll could be a powerful vehicle for political commentary and rebellion, making them key figures in the soundtrack of social change. God Save the Queen. Dropping in 1977 during Queen Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee, the track pulled no punches in its critique of British institutions. With incendiary lyrics like, "God save the Queen, she ain't no human being." It was a raw and unapologetic swipe at the monarchy and the establishment, a move that shocked the nation. Unsurprisingly, the backlash was swift. The BBC banned the song outright, and record stores across the UK refused to carry it, viewing it as an insult to national pride. But as often happens with controversy, the ban only amplified its appeal. The track became a rallying cry for Britain's disillusioned youth, capturing the anger and frustration of a generation fed up with a system they felt had failed them. What's more, many fans believe the song was unfairly denied its rightful place at #1 on the charts. Rumors persist that God Save the Queen outsold the official top single of the time, but was deliberately held back to avoid stoking further outrage. Regardless, the track cemented itself as a punk rock milestone, a rebellious anthem that still resonates with those who challenge authority and demand change. Let's spend the night together. In an era when overt references to casual relationships were still taboo, this song boldly stepped into controversial territory with its suggestive lyrics. The track openly hinted at casual sex, raising eyebrows and sparking debates about its appropriateness. When the band performed the song on The Ed Sullivan Show, it became clear just how provocative the song was. Producers insisted Mick Jagger tone it down by changing the lyrics to "Let's spend some time together" for the broadcast. Jagger agreed, but not without a cheeky twist. He exaggeratedly rolled his eyes each time he sang the revised line, adding a rebellious edge that fans couldn't miss. Despite receiving limited airplay in more conservative regions, the song still managed to climb the charts and solidify the Rolling Stones image as rock's ultimate provocateurs. In some countries, radio stations even flipped the script, heavily promoting the single's B-side, Ruby Tuesday, to sidestep the controversy. But whether played or protested, "Let's Spend the Night Together" became yet another unforgettable moment in the Rolling Stones' storied career. Next up, we have Light My Fire by The Doors, a song that ignited the charts in 1967 and solidified the band as legends in rock history. This seductive blend of rock, blues, and psychedelia captivated audiences, making it an instant classic. But it wasn't just the sultry sound or Jim Morrison's magnetic vocals that grabbed attention. It was the lyrics that stirred up controversy. The line, "Girl, we couldn't get much higher," raised red flags for TV censors who took it as a nod to. When the Doors were booked to perform on The Ed Sullivan Show, producers demanded the band tone it down for the live broadcast. Jim Morrison initially agreed to replace the word "higher" with something less provocative. However, when the moment came, Morrison delivered the original line without hesitation, catching everyone off guard. The rebellious move sealed the Doors' fate. They were banned from the show forever. Yet the fallout only bolstered their image as icons of counterculture defiance. Light My Fire became more than just a hit. It was a rallying cry for a generation pushing against societal norms. To this day, it stands as a defining anthem of the 1960s, representing both musical innovation and unflinching rebellion. Imagine. We have John Lennon's iconic track, Imagine, released in 1971. With its hopeful message of peace, unity, and harmony, the song quickly became a global anthem for dreamers and idealists. Lennon's vision of a world without borders, possessions, or even religion struck a chord with millions who longed for a more compassionate, peaceful world. But not everyone shared this vision. Many critics, especially from conservative circles, were deeply unsettled by Lennon's lyrics. Some saw the song's plea for a world without organized religion or materialism as a subtle promotion of atheism and communism, ideas that were especially controversial during the tense years of the Cold War. These critics argued that Lennon was encouraging people to abandon their core beliefs, which led to the song being banned in certain regions, particularly in places where anti-communist sentiment was strong. Despite the backlash, Imagine became one of the most enduring and celebrated songs in history. Its message of peace and hope transcended political divides, and the song became an anthem for numerous humanitarian movements. The very piano Lennon used to compose the song was later toured around the world as a symbol of peace, further amplifying the song's profound impact. Over time, Imagine has grown into a timeless reminder of the power of music to inspire change and unite people across the globe. Next up, we have Barry Maguire's powerful protest anthem, Eve of Destruction. Released in 1965, this song captured the anxiety and disillusionment felt by many during the Cold War, resonating with youth who were deeply concerned about the threat of nuclear war, political corruption, and social unrest. Maguire's passionate delivery, especially on lines like, "You're old enough to kill, but not for votin'," struck a nerve with young listeners who felt alienated by the world around them. However, the song didn't sit well with many older, more conservative audiences. Its raw, unfiltered critique of government leaders and the state of the world led some to label it as unpatriotic. Several radio stations in the US banned the song, deeming it too bleak and demoralizing, while the BBC also refused to air it, citing its controversial political content during a tense time in global affairs. Despite the censorship, Eve of Destruction shot to the top of the charts, sparking widespread debate and conversation about the state of the world. Maguire recorded the song in just one take, and the emotional strain of the lyrics can be heard in his cracking voice, which only added to the sense of urgency and raw emotion in the song. In the years since, Eve of Destruction has remained a defining anthem of the 1960s protest movement, capturing the fears and frustrations of a generation determined to change the world. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Next on our list is Fortunate Son by Creedence Clearwater Revival, a song that became an iconic protest anthem during the Vietnam War. Released in 1969, the track sharply criticized the social inequalities tied to the military draft, particularly how the wealthy could dodge service while the working class was sent off to fight. With the powerful line, "It ain't me, I ain't no senator's son," the song laid bare the frustration of those who felt that the elites were avoiding the harsh realities of war. At a time when patriotism and military service were sensitive topics, Fortunate Son stirred controversy. Its anti-establishment message resonated with many who saw the war as unjust, but it also alienated others who viewed the song as unpatriotic. In fact, it was banned from being played on the Armed Forces Vietnam network, preventing soldiers from hearing it on the front lines. Despite the ban and backlash, Fortunate Son became a rallying cry for anti-war protesters and the disillusioned youth of America. John Fogerty, the band's lead singer and songwriter, famously wrote the song in just 20 minutes, channeling the raw anger and resentment many Americans felt toward the government's handling of the war. Today, Fortunate Son remains a powerful anthem of resistance and a reminder of the power of music to speak truth to power during times of political and social unrest. Tell Laura I Love Her. Tell Laura I Love Her by Ray Peterson is one of those songs that may sound sweet on the surface, but created quite a stir when it was released in the early 1960s. On the surface, it's a heart-wrenching ballad about young love, telling the tragic story of Tommy, a teenager who enters a car race to win the prize money for an engagement ring for his beloved Laura. But the story takes a dark turn when Tommy dies in a fiery crash, leaving behind a poignant message for Laura. Tell Laura I love her. Tell Laura I need her. At the time, the song hit a nerve. Parents and critics were uncomfortable with the intense emotion and the dangerous romanticized notion of reckless behavior. The idea of a young man risking his life for love seemed to glamorize danger, and the fatal crash struck a chord that many felt was too much for young audiences. Radio stations across the country quickly pulled the song from their playlists, arguing that it was too morbid and could influence impressionable listeners to act recklessly. Despite the backlash, Tell Laura I Love Her became a major hit, topping the charts and earning a place in the hearts of teenagers. It struck a chord with young listeners who understood the emotions of love and loss, making it an anthem of youthful defiance. Ray Peterson may not have set out to spark controversy, but in doing so, he challenged the boundaries of what was considered acceptable in pop music storytelling. The song's raw emotion and tragic tale became a cultural touchstone, showing how music could stir deep emotions and provoke powerful reactions. Next up is Ohio by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, a poignant protest song that was written as a direct response to the shocking Kent State shootings in 1970. The tragic incident, where 4 unarmed students were killed by the National Guard during a protest against the Vietnam War, rocked the nation and sparked outrage. Neil Young, who was deeply affected by the images of the event he saw in Life magazine, penned the song almost immediately. His lyrics, brimming with raw emotion, capture the collective anger and sorrow of a country mourning the senseless of innocent young people. With powerful lines like "Tin soldiers" and "Nixon's comin'," Young placed blame squarely on the government, specifically President Richard Nixon, for the violence. This blunt political message made many radio stations wary of playing the song, fearing the potential backlash from authorities. Despite the risk, Ohio became a lightning rod for the anti-war movement, with its call for justice resonating strongly with the youth of the time, who felt increasingly alienated from the government. The song was written, recorded, and released within just a few weeks of the Kent State tragedy, making it one of the quickest musical responses to a national event in history. Ohio stands as a powerful testament to the role of music in reflecting and amplifying the political and social turbulence of the 1960s and 1970s. It remains an enduring symbol of protest, highlighting the deep divide between the government and the young, disillusioned generation. I Am the Walrus. By 1967, they were more than just a band. They were true cultural icons, always pushing rock music into new and uncharted territory. One track that really showcases their bold experimentation is I Am the Walrus. It's one of their most mind-bending songs, crafted to leave fans and critics scratching their heads. John Lennon intentionally filled the lyrics with strange, almost nonsensical phrases, and true to form, listeners were left confused, trying to figure out what it all meant. But here's where it gets interesting. While the odd lyrics certainly baffled people, it wasn't the words themselves that got the song into trouble with the censors. The real issue came from one line. "Boy, you've been a naughty girl. You let your knickers down." In 1967, British radio found the word knickers too risque, and as a result, the BBC banned the song. The irony: the ban only made the track even more popular, turning I Am the Walrus into a beloved anthem for those who appreciated the Beatles' daring, avant-garde style. Next on our list is the Kinks with their unforgettable 1970 hit, Lola. This song dives into a story that was quite groundbreaking for its time. A man's romantic encounter with a transgender woman. Tackling such a bold and progressive topic was rare in the rock scene, and Lola stood out for its honest and unapologetic storytelling. Surprisingly, though, the controversy surrounding the song had nothing to do with its themes. Instead, it was a single word that caused all the drama. The original lyrics included the line, "Where they drink Coca-Cola," which ran afoul of the BBC's strict no advertising policy. But the Kinks weren't about to let a product mention silence their hit. In a clever move, they re-recorded the track, replacing Coca-Cola with Cherry Cola. Problem solved. This small change allowed Lola to dominate the airwaves and become a chart-topping success. The song, inspired by a real-life moment lead singer Ray Davies witnessed in a Paris nightclub, not only became a classic, but also opened the door for conversations about gender identity, something virtually unheard of in mainstream music at the time. It's a testament to the Kinks' innovation and their willingness to challenge societal norms. Brown-Eyed Girl. With its upbeat melody and warm, nostalgic feel, this 1967 hit quickly became a crowd favorite and has since cemented its place as one of the most recognizable songs of all time. It's hard not to sing along to the carefree vibe that captures the innocence of young love and simpler days. But even a song as cheerful as this wasn't without its share of controversy. The line, "Making love in the green grass," raised eyebrows at the time, with many considering it too risque for mainstream radio. To dodge the backlash, radio stations opted for a toned-down version, swapping the lyric for "laughin' and a-runnin', hey, hey." Despite the censorship, the track remained a massive success and solidified Van Morrison's reputation as a musical powerhouse. What many fans might not realize is that Brown-Eyed Girl was originally written about an interracial relationship, a bold and provocative subject in the politically charged atmosphere of the 1960s. This layer of meaning only adds to the song's depth and highlights its subtle challenge to societal norms of the time. It's a testament to Van Morrison's talent for blending catchy tunes with meaningful storytelling. Which of these banned songs from the 60s and 70s do you think had the biggest impact on music history? Let us know in the comments. The Fish cheer, "I Feel Like I'm Fixin' to Die Rag," by Country Joe and the Fish, released in 1965, became an iconic anti-Vietnam War anthem, combining humor with powerful political commentary. The song's infectious, "1, 2, 3, what are we fighting for?" chorus captured the confusion and disillusionment of the era, resonating deeply with the growing anti-war movement. Its satirical tone critiqued the senselessness of the war, and it became an anthem for young Americans questioning the conflict. However, controversy arose during live performances when Country Joe McDonald led the band in a modified version of the song's cheer, replacing the word fish with an expletive. This led to their ban from The Ed Sullivan Show, one of the most influential television programs at the time. Despite the controversy, the song gained widespread popularity, cementing its place in the soundtrack of the 1960s counterculture and further solidifying its legacy as a bold statement against the war. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds by the Beatles, released in 1967, is one of the most famous songs linked to the psychedelic era. The track's surreal lyrics, including "Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies," contributed to its dreamlike atmosphere, perfectly complementing the experimental music of the time. However, the song became controversial due to its initials, LSD, which many listeners and critics assumed was a reference to the hallucinogenic drug. Despite John Lennon's claims that the inspiration came from a drawing his son Julian made of a classmate named Lucy, the BBC was skeptical. They banned the song from airplay, fearing it might encourage drug use. This ban only heightened the public's fascination with the track, making it one of the most debated songs in rock history. Brown Sugar. Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones, released in 1971, became one of the band's most iconic hits with its infectious riff and energetic performance. However, the song's controversial lyrics, which reference slavery, interracial relationships, and drug use, sparked significant debate. The opening line, "Gold Coast slave ship bound for cotton fields," immediately set a harsh tone, addressing themes of historical oppression. As time went on, the song faced increasing scrutiny, with many criticizing its portrayal of sensitive subjects. The controversy reached a tipping point in 2021 when the Rolling Stones decided to remove Brown Sugar from their U.S. tour setlists. Mick Jagger explained that the decision was made to see how the absence of the song would be received, acknowledging the evolving perspective on the lyrics over time. Give Ireland Back to the Irish by Wings, released in 1972, became one of the most controversial songs of its time due to its bold political stance. Written in response to the Bloody Sunday Massacre in Northern Ireland, where British soldiers killed 13 unarmed protesters, Paul McCartney and Wings used the song to voice their outrage. With lyrics like, "You are tremendous, and nobody knows like me. But really, what are you doing in the land across the sea?" The song directly challenged the British presence in Ireland. The politically charged nature of the song led to it being banned by the BBC and other British media outlets, who feared its message would incite unrest. Despite the ban, the song resonated with many listeners, reaching #1 on the Irish charts and making it to #16 in the UK. McCartney later reflected on how the song marked a turning point in his career, helping people see him as an individual artist with a voice on political issues. My Generation. My Generation by The Who, released in 1965, quickly became a defining anthem for the youth culture of the 1960s. The song's rebellious message, especially the iconic line, "Hope I die before I get old," perfectly captured the frustration and defiance of a generation that rejected the norms of their parents. But what really caught attention was Roger Daltrey's deliberate stutter during the line, "Why don't you all fade away?" The stutter, while serving to heighten the song's sense of urgency and rebellion, raised concerns with the BBC, who initially banned the track. The concern was that the stutter might offend listeners with speech impediments, a sensitive issue at the time. Despite the BBC's ban, the song's controversy only seemed to amplify its popularity. It became a rallying cry for young people, cementing its place as an anthem of defiance and rebellion. My Generation climbed to #2 on the UK charts and resonated deeply with the youth, becoming one of The Who's most memorable and impactful songs. The stutter, rather than detracting from the song, became a symbol of the generation's struggle to be heard and understood, adding to the track's lasting cultural significance. 8 Miles High by The Byrds, released in 1966, is often regarded as one of the pioneering tracks in the psychedelic rock genre. Its unique sound, which blended jazz influences and Indian music, was largely inspired by the experimental work of John Coltrane and Ravi Shankar. Guitarist Roger McGuinn's innovative use of his 12-string Rickenbacker guitar was designed to replicate the sound of Coltrane's saxophone, creating a mesmerizing, droning effect that became a defining feature of the song. However, the song's abstract lyrics and its ethereal, unconventional sound led many radio stations to misinterpret its meaning. The phrase 8 miles high and the dreamlike quality of the song were seen by some as thinly veiled references to drug use, especially at a time when psychedelic culture was growing in prominence. This perception, coupled with the band's experimental approach, led to the song being banned on many radio stations, despite the fact that it was about the Byrds' literal flight to London and their experiences there. Even though the band's curtailed its airplay, 8 Miles High became a hallmark of the psychedelic era and is now regarded as a groundbreaking track in the development of rock music. Its blend of jazz, Eastern influences, and rock pushed boundaries and cemented the Byrds' place in music history. A Day in the Life. A Day in the Life. By the Beatles, released in 1967 as the closing track of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, is widely considered one of the band's most ambitious and experimental songs. Its blend of surreal lyrics, orchestral arrangements, and shifting musical landscapes made it a defining moment in rock history. However, it was also a source of controversy, particularly due to the line, "I'd love to turn you on," which the BBC interpreted as a reference to drugs. At the height of the counterculture movement, drug use was a sensitive issue, and many authorities feared that popular music could encourage young people to experiment with substances. Despite the fact that the Beatles themselves denied any drug-related meaning behind the line, the BBC banned the song from being played on air, arguing that it could promote a permissive attitude toward drug use. This ban only added to the mystique surrounding A Day in the Life and contributed to its status as one of the most iconic tracks of the 1960s. The controversy, paired with the song's groundbreaking musical innovation, helped solidify the Beatles' reputation as pioneers who were constantly pushing boundaries in both music and social commentary. Which song from this list do you still listen to today? Let us know why it still resonates with you. Mississippi Goddam by Nina Simone, released in 1964, is one of the most potent protest songs in American history. Written in response to the tragic bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, and the assassination of civil rights leader Medgar Evers, the song conveys Simone's raw anger and frustration with the racial violence and injustice rampant in the South. Its bold lyrics, including lines like, "Alabama's got me so upset, Tennessee made me lose my rest," directly confronted the racial climate of the time. The song's unapologetic tone and sharp criticisms led to bans across multiple southern states. Some radio stations even destroyed promotional copies of the single, unable to bear the song's powerful message. Despite, or perhaps because of the controversy, Mississippi Goddamn became an anthem of the civil rights movement, rallying those who were fighting against racial oppression. Nina Simone, using her music as a platform for social change, captured the pain, anger, and resilience of a generation seeking justice. So, what do you think happened to these one-hit wonders? Did I miss any? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this dive into musical mysteries, check out the other videos in this series. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share Who Remembers with someone who loves these forgotten hits. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.